If you guys started, you're you still have me muted.
Not just yet, but we will, guess it's 5:15 and we do have a quorum, so we can sure start. Trevor, if you wanna
Okay,
fire it up.
I will call the Bismarck Human Relations Committee to order. Okay, the mission, the Bismarck Human Relations Committee. The mission of the Bismarck Human Relations Committee is to protect and promote the personal dignity of all Bismarck citizens, to eliminate any discriminatory. Hang on a minute. Barriers that prevent them from reaching their full human potential and seeking to make education and compliance a meaningful and visible strategy to recognize and value a diverse community. Can I get approval of the meeting minutes?
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Motion by Sergiana, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Next is public comment. Do I have any public comment? I don't-
There is nobody online other than Nicole, and there was nobody in the room, so no public comment.
Okay, and then a build recognition in partnership in community portals. What's that?
The events that we have this month.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, that one. Martin Luther King celebration, January 17th. And then the families around the world, January 24th. Is there anything we need to discuss on that, Jason?
I can offer a little bit of feedback from the last meeting. So for those of you that were here, you'll remember that there was a motion and a unanimous support to take the remaining funds of the 2021 Human Relations Committee budget and provide that as a donation to support the Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration, which will be next week, next week, Monday, January 17th. Long story short, there was about $951 left in the HRC's budget. So $950, just a round number, was approved by the city commission as a donation from the HRC to the MLK Jr. celebration. And a check was cut the Wednesday after the commission meeting, and it was sent, and it's all taken care of. So this group, through that effort, is a big supporter of that event. And in speaking with Mr. Patry, he was certainly very appreciative. Jason, I don't know if you've had any conversations with him since that time?
I have not.
Okay,
No, with the holidays, and then I got sick, unfortunately. So
sure.
I was gonna touch base with him probably tonight or tomorrow night.
Okay.
To just get further information.
One more thing, if I can, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, Gloria David, our Public Information Officer here, connected with Mr. Patry and Julie Ramos Lagos, who works at the Tribune, works with Global Neighbors, is part of the MLK Jr. celebration. So Gloria and Julie and Mr. Patry all got together and talked about the various ways that the message can be shared to not only encourage people to attend, but highlight the event, shine a light on the HRC and the participation that the committee will be taking part in. And really there's going to be just a nice effort of cross posting and sharing of information through social media, local media. Gloria will get a press release out prior to next week, Monday, with hopes of getting some cameras and some crews there and getting some attention for the event. So she was pretty encouraged by all of that. Let me just check my notes we talked this morning at our staff meeting. Mr. Patry will do the welcome and introduction the next day or that day. I don't know if the activities have been finalized just yet, or he was gonna follow up and see. But if you'll remember, Mr. Patry had talked about having a couple different regional authors as keynote speakers. Also, the gentleman who is the soccer coach and former Haitian resident, Pierre Louis is his last name. He's going to be there to talk about the struggles of growing up in Haiti. And then there were a couple of different potential musical acts. There was a chance for an African choir, Native American drum circle, and then a gentleman by the name of Merrill Pepcorn, who lives in the Fargo area. He is a singer, songwriter, performer, radio voice, host of, or the announcer for the FM Red Hawks baseball team. Mr. Patry had mentioned his name as well. So 4 or 5 potential individuals, keynote speakers, performances, what have you, plus your participation with a booth and various information there as well. So.
Well, I guess there's a Facebook page that Tia invited me to.
So it's not a page,
Oh,
we created a group,
Oh, it's a group. Okay.
Julie did.
Okay.
So it's a public group, so you guys can all search it.
Perfect.
It's MLA Holiday Commission.
Cool.
So I can only invite friends, but it does state that they also have Representative Ruth Buffalo speaking.
Okay.
And then, yeah, there's a poster and everything on there that you can save and share, but it's a group.
Cool. Well, we can use that group and then cross post and share and do all sorts of things with our city Facebook page as well. Gloria does a nice job managing that. So hopefully it'll help put more people in attendance and draw some attention to the event.
So as far as the event goes, they have a table there. We don't have to bring one, am I correct?
I would assume.
Okay.
It's Trinity, there's gotta be tabled everywhere.
Okay, so that is like a table, you guys can take your banner. We got this wrap that goes around the tables for stash stuff underneath. But then this is actually the table runner. There was an error on the size, so it will be coming much larger in like 3 weeks. So it won't make these upcoming events big use of one for now. To drape over the front of the table.
Okay.
And then there's the other swag.
So one question I wanted to ask the group was, since this is an MLK event, do we want to bring a lot of swag or do we want to just be more informational and supportive?
More informational than maybe the next one. I'll bring.
Right, like with the library, I thought that could be more like giving out a lot of swag, but this one maybe do our pamphlets.
How we have it separated out is we separated everything for the 4 events. So they're all impact, like we have them saved here, but there's everything in here and in this box that you guys can take, like the water bottles and pens and the candies and stickers, they're all ready for you guys to take, so you can take them if you don't use them.
Okay.
But
So we
they're,
can just put a we feel appropriate. or
yes,
whatever.
they're brochures and
So
everything.
everyone's kind of in the same mindset.
I know they do go quickly depending on the
Yeah.
stuff that you guys have.
So is that just for that one of the 17th or the 24th in there too? So we don't have a meeting, is my question.
This is just the 17th.
Correct.
Um,
I don't know if you want to put in the 24th too and then trust one that's someone that's gonna be at both to have it.
I can, I'm not sure that all the water bottles will fit.
Do you
I
have
have
2
them in bags.
boxes?
I only have one of these,
Okay.
but, because this is the committees now, so this is for you guys to.
A little rolling cart.
I don't know, that's really nice.
The only other group that has a rolling box like that is the city commission. So you guys are like, you're right there. We can just get you guys paychecks that you guys are.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sergio, that we should try and get for the next event too.
So someone doesn't have to come back here.
Yeah.
Not that we don't mind seeing you guys. However, there's sets that are only a week apart. So-
Yeah.
That makes
Good
total
point.
sense. I was thinking a week at a time, but.
If anything, I can always swing up here because it is on my way home. Let's see what it entails or how much it is.
I know the envelope will definitely fit, and the water bottles, the extras are in like 2 grocery sacks.
I
So
think
I can take the grocery sacks.
with
I
the
wanna do that.
If you wanna
I'll
take
the
that, I'll
box.
take the grocery sacks down to bring rocks anyways, so
Yeah,
I can take those.
okay. My thoughts on the Martin Luther King Day celebration is I was thinking like showing up 5:30 or 6 to like try and help them set up and whatnot for whoever can make it. I haven't spoken to Bill, but I'm assuming that should work. I mean, if their event is at 7, I would think someone would be there. What I can do is find out for sure and then get the info to you, so you can email everyone to make sure that we're not showing up at 5:30 and there's nobody there,
Sitting
you
there
know,
watching.
right?
Looking for a table.
So, but my thoughts would be 5:30 or 6 for that event. And then I don't know, Sergiana, if you had more information on the families around the world.
Oh, no, the only thing I found is I counted my rocks.
Yeah.
I counted my rocks and I got enough, I'll have enough paint markers in by then, so we should be good. The only thing, and I can go purchase this, we'll just need, like, we can't use the tablecloth and stuff because they'll ruin it because it's rock painting, so I'm just gonna buy a disposable one and put it over it so they can paint rocks
Oh,
that way.
yeah.
So I have right now, I didn't count all of them, but I guesstimated ones that would work about a little over 100. So I don't know if I would say we need probably 75-ish if we have.
Yeah.
And even if we run, they said if we run out, we run out, but. And then I'm just gonna bring, different, Clorox wipes are cheaper, they're not Clorox wipes, cheaper ones to wipe them off. Cause they're the landscaping rocks, so they're dirty, so I just wipe them off before the kids use them as I generally do, so I'll probably try to wipe the ones off that I bring.
I have another container of bitumen wipes if you want me to bring them.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll just, I tested all the paint markers I have, and then I ordered like 2 more things, so I should have enough. If not, there's some in town if I need to go buy some. But, yeah, so we should have enough for the activity for sure. And then I don't remember what time was that at. I think I have it on my phone, but
I have it at 6:30, January 24th, 2022.
so do I. So do you know if they're gonna send out, Sister Hannah's gonna send out an email beforehand, or who was it? Was it Sister Hannah? I can't remember who was that. That's who it
Yep.
was.
Yeah,
An email beforehand, because she sent one out before with some information, but.
Gloria had talked with Julie about that too, because we were little neighbors, because that's something that they're doing as well. So the information I got was through Gloria. We haven't seen anything formal from Hannah. She was a former member of this group, knows how to get a hold of us. Maybe tomorrow we could chat Whitney and see if she can reach out to Hannah and see what's going on over there. It'll be 2 weeks from the day. So if there's any announcements or finalizations of things, hopefully that can come across. Just a question for quorum purposes, in case we need to notify as a special meeting. So there's 9 of you. Actually, after tonight's meeting, there will be 7. So that means a quorum of you is 4.
Okay.
Of the 5 of you that can hear me, how many of you plan to attend the Martin Luther King Jr. event?
I will.
Okay, so Trevor, Jason, Sergiana,
I won't make either, I'm out of town.
Gia's out for both. Nicole, do you plan to make it to the MLK event on the 17th?
My current plan is, yes, I will be there on the 17th.
Very simple. We won't hold you to it, but what we need to know is if there's gonna be 4 of you in a room, that's considered a quorum. And then it's an official meeting, so we just have to notice it as a special meeting. No harm, no foul. It doesn't mean nothing happens. It just means that we're not breaking any rules when it comes to open meeting regulations.
That has to get posted on an open.
Yep.
Perfect, Maura.
Or advertising, we'll take care of all of that. Whitney will do it.
Team relationship committee a lot.
Whitney can take care of that. It's just a simple announcement, goes on like with all the other agendas. And if something happens and one of you isn't able to make it and there's just 3 of you, doesn't matter.
Right.
No harm, no foul. We're just making sure we're not missing a step. That's the only reason I asked. So for the 17th, we think we're gonna have it. Again, of the 5 of you, who's planning to go to the Families of the World on the 24th.
I,
1, 2, 3. Nicole, does that one work for you too?
That one I'm not gonna be able to attend.
No. Okay, so we'll have 3 for that one. We'll leave it at that.
but I would just post on in case somebody just.
Yeah, because Darcy could change,
Yeah.
Darcy could go. So we'll just post them both just to be safe, and then that way it's, as Jason said, it's another way to recognize the HRC's activities and events and community going gatherings anyway. So, okay. Thank you.
So what do you guys think on what do all of you think, sorry, on the Families Around the World, like a 6 PM show up time?
I suppose she can ask Sister Hannah to see if there's anything else, but if we need to be there at a different time, but I think that's
We're not
really
helping.
enough. It shouldn't take very long to set it up.
No,
With MLK, we're kind of helping their event if they need anything.
Ours is
on
just
their
like
table.
the potatoes,
Right.
like 5 minutes.
Okay. Okay,
And I'll dig rocks, I'll live onto my earthly, and I'll wipe them off. I fly out 5 AM on the 17th, so I'll need to connect
I'll
with
come.
you before then to get the rocks.
I'll bring that bucket and meet you somewhere. I can put on your.
Yeah, I'll wipe
I know where
them,
it's at.
I'll make my clients wipe rocks. So, for
This is
that.
a good exercise, wiping rocks,
yeah.
big arms.
Oh, the next time will be, what, we can do.
yes, sorry. It'll be there.
Municipal index rating.
Nothing new to report from where I'm at on that one, but maybe just a reminder that if we were gonna wait until after the first of the year, and Jason and I were gonna try and reach out to the National Human Rights Coalition Committee. I always forget, there's all these commission, committee, coalition, they all mean something different, but we will plan a time to sit down and better understand that and make sure that we're ahead of the scoring and reporting and all of that good stuff. So offline, we can connect and figure out where we're gonna go from there. And we can just leave this on as a placeholder, so we've got a regular update, so the group knows where we're at, and it'll hold us accountable going forward as well.
Do we want to try and set a goal of sitting down before the next meeting?
Yes,
Do we want to coordinate with public health and the library at that sit down?
we should probably reconnect with them because we had planted the seed about a month ago for them to look at other ideas or look at ways that they're already achieving some of the goals that are there. So it'd be nice to get a report back from them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put that on as a to-do.
We have a question. I know you had emailed us regarding the t-shirts. They won't be here before this event?
No, there's like a 3-week flag on them, so, no, they are ordered, but not ready yet, so.
Are they tie-dye?
No.
Just,
So demand.
I mean,
Jason's face on
so
it.
For a quote.
I should put your face on the back of all of them.
no.
Human Relations Committee on the front, and Jason,
No, just Jason.
Jason on the back.
Negatory.
Are
You
there
did a really
shirts?
good job in that, press release, really. I read that before I had to speak. I'm like, I'm going, oh, Jason wrote it out.
Yeah, that was a surprise. I was supposed to be there with all of you and then got sick and I'm like, no, I'm not about to have anyone. I'm glad you were able to go. Did the mayor show up?
No, he was supposed to be there and then we waited about 15 minutes.
Because KX was late.
KX, so the reason KX was late, he was at Public Works on the other side of town doing a story about snowplows and then had to jump all the way over to BSC in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
And he's from Georgia. He had never heard of this idea of widening streets. It's a
Oh.
foreign term to him because they don't plow snow in Georgia like we do.
Oh my
And so when
God,
he-
it's funny.
Public Works is widening the streets. What does that mean?
Oh.
To those of us that have been here, it means nothing.
Yeah.
But for him, it was a big deal. So
Yeah.
he was there and the mayor had some catastrophic event happen with his day job and he was unable to attend. So,
But the paper was there, but I don't know, did they put something on the paper?
yes,
Dakota section.
Mike McCleary had a picture in Saturday's paper and a little tagline underneath why we were there and what was going on. We get the paper here. I'll see if I can find it real quick.
I'm glad that they got her speaking on the news. I didn't know if they get, she's so quiet. I'm like, even mic'd up, I don't know, but they got her. And she's so shy and quiet.
And Cameron's pretty new too, like I've had to work with him.
Well, and I was hoping to get there too, but I had another meeting.
Yeah.
I didn't get to, so.
Yeah. It was nice, like press for the program and stuff. Yeah.
I got the director of the teacher who oversees Taylor, super amped about collaborating with other parts of the city too, so
that's great.
that's really good for their program.
Yeah.
I mean, from automotive to aviation, I think they have all sorts of things they can
Well,
collaborate
and
on.
they're pushing that whole tech aspect of the VSC right now.
Governor really is pushing
Yeah.
it. They're actually getting a new technical center
Yeah,
that in Grand Forks, that's what they're funding,
Really?
yeah.
part of VSC.
No, part of
Different tech.
the city or the.
Can you see that, Nicole?
Love it.
So under the caption, I'll put you guys too, you can't see it, I'll read it. It says, Taylor Cook Wright, a senior at Century High School and a student at the Bismarck Career Academy, empowered, stands next to the new logo she designed for the Bismarck Human Relations Committee during a Friday event recognizing her creative efforts. The senior provided more than 24 conceptual drawings before the committee settled on the final logo and colors. The logo, which shows the diverse population in the community, will be used on the group's letterhead, stickers, pens, and banners for events such as the upcoming Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration.
So that's really cool.
So,
Yeah,
nice
She
little
was like
plug.
the sweetest girl possible too. Oh my God, she's so sweet. She's so thankful and everything.
Good.
Oh,
I
that's
was
her little
one
heart.
like, don't be scared in the future to charge 30 right there. Like,
yeah.
And she wants to go to school to become a graphic designer and figure it's not gonna be like, so.
Well, I'm glad it was successful.
Yeah.
The next item is other business.
We had continued discussion on new goals on there as well. So that was something that I had asked Whitney to add to the agenda, and it was based on last month's conversation. I guess my idea or my concept here of continued goals discussion is that we can leave this item on for the group to talk about at every meeting. I don't think that it's fair to just set goals once a year and leave them there. But at the same time, if you review the minutes, it looks like some of those goals, some of them kind of carried over, some of them might be taking on a new shape or a different form. For anybody that's been looking back at past agendas, one of the things that you would have seen on there for a long time was the term diversity university. So that was an event, or a series of events, I should say, that the Human Relations Committee used as kind of an umbrella term. And when we talk about diversity university, it's things like the cultural dinner. It's things like participation in the Capital Pride event. It was a few years ago, the HRC helped support a movie that was shown at the Heritage Center about women's suffrage. I believe it was called Suffragette. So then they had a booth and participated in those types of events. And so the term,
That was a really good
That's a
event.
good idea.
the term diversity university just became the placeholder for the quarterly events or activities that the group wanted to try and find ways to participate in. Given that most of you are fairly new, that term might have been confusing. So rather than keep it in that, we can go back to that, but I wanted to be able to make sure that we didn't leave anything off the table when it was talking about goals, because what I heard the group say was, find an event each quarter, find ways to raise up the HRC. And I think just this newspaper, this last week's worth of events, you could say, yeah, we're doing that, but I don't think that's anything you ever want to stop doing either. So I just put it on there, making sure we didn't forget anything or leave anything off. And if you guys are comfortable moving forward, we can have it as a goals continued discussion, or if you want to nail down specific things, we can put those on the agenda each month, and then we can check in and say, how are we doing with this? To me, the MEI, the Municipal Equality Index rating, that is a goal to increase the score. be more responsive to the survey, be more engaged with the survey, and we're doing those things as regular work, but it's not necessarily recognized as a goal. So it's your committee, your discussions, just wanted to let you guys know that I didn't think the conversation was really done at the last meeting, but at the same time, we were coming up on 2 hours plus, and there was just a lot of chatter.
I think it's good to have goals and for them to be on there. I mean, we could always update them, change them as we go along, but I think it's good for them to be out there, especially the one that we talked about, that was one quarterly event. When you talked about diversity university, when I first started, I thought it only meant the cultural event.
Yeah.
I didn't know it had a bunch of other stuff in there as well. So it did kind of get lost on me, obviously, but I thought that was just that one event.
Diversity University used to be a quarterly event that was planned like HRC planned, so it wasn't something that
Okay.
you partnered with somebody else, or, you know, if you had a booth somewhere, it was an event strictly that the HRC planned. So that got to be really difficult doing the 4 events, so then they went to 2 events a year, so a spring event and a fall event. But I think it's great that you guys want to go back to doing something at least quarterly.
What about this? So for goals, I really like one of our goals being building recognition. Okay, that first A, and you can do an addendum through participation in community events. But I think that can be at least 2 times a year, you know what I mean? And then we could do a diversity university type event 2 times a year that we put on. Whatever that is, that could be a public forum, that could be an event at the Heritage Center with a movie, you know, and our booth there with discussion. That could be anything, you know, really. It could be the cultural dinner once we're able to facilitate that again. I like that diversity university. I like how it's all encompassing and it meets with our goals. That way we're putting on an event twice a year and we're also partnering up twice a year, and that can vary, you know, if we partner up with more than.
Yeah, we'll be more than twice a year
Right.
this year, but yeah.
I think at least.
But,
20 to-
that's good, but we should really consider, do we wanna do the council dinner this semester, or do we wanna wait until next November?
Well, we haven't reached out, the new semester in the school system starts next week. So we haven't reached out, or the week after, I don't know. But we haven't reached out again to Kim, is that her name, Kim? Kim, to see if they would wanna do it this next semester or not. And I know Krista was initially contacting her, and I don't know, and then Manisha, I think, contacted her. So we're on like the 3rd contact, but I mean, I think we maybe still reach out to her to see if that's something they'd be interested in.
And I made that initial contact at the committee's direction at the beginning of school this fall, and that's when she said, you know, I'd hate to plan something and then have COVID ruin it. So she said, let's check back in the spring. So if this group is interested in that, I'd be happy to reach out again and say, hey, if you're feeling lucky, this group is interested. And then if the answer is, well, maybe not, I might challenge her a little bit to say, well, what else could this group do? How else could this group partner with high school students to recognize the diversity and the cultural significance in our community? And just leave it on her. And if you guys have ideas, I'd be happy to share those with her too. Maybe we invite her to a meeting, maybe a couple of you go off on your own and meet with her separately, however that works. But if that is a desire of this group, is to continue to do something in the thread of the diversity university and the cultural dinner, then all you need to do is tell us and we'll start that conversation again.
Yeah, and then if she does want to move forward, and I know we know Julie too, but when I talked to Julie from Global Neighbors, she has a number of people that we could look at contacting to see if they would spearhead it, because they have different cultural types things. Some of them even have restaurants in the area. So we do have a contact there if we want to partner. And if like she has no inkling to want to do anything at all, I mean, there's other people we could reach out to in the school system. There's the AVID classes. They're always looking for different types of things like this. I know the head of AVID in the school system, I can ask Tana to point us somewhere if we need to do.
And I think too, if the dinner, let's say dinner's food specifically with COVID is a concern, there's other avenues. art, different things like that. But I do think it's super important to be connected to the youth and the
Yeah.
community. Like, I think that should be, yeah.
And that was one of our goals, was the mentorship of the youth more so, but it's more so youth come being in our community. Well, we kind of changed that with a youth actually doing our logo.
Yeah.
So we had the youth involved and we're able to do that through our logo. So we do think youth is really important to foster up to be in our community eventually as well.
One thing that I can offer, last June, so June of 2021, at the direction, again, from this group, I met with Dr. Jason Hornbacher with the school district and said, hey, Doc, we want to get involved. How do we participate? Who do we get with? And he lined me up with 3 different individuals, and that's how we got to Sassy, believe it or not, was he said, we've got this new person. She's not able to be here tonight. Would you bring her?
No, I'm just like, is she on here?
No, she had something else.
Moving into a new apartment, and so that was for,
Uh,
it was for Dave to do that.
So Dr. Hornbacher was extremely interested in the work of this committee and then finding ways to pair students with this group and raise awareness for all things. And that's also how we got to Taylor Cook at the Career Academy, was through this entire conversation. So I would have no trouble reaching out to Dr. Hornbacher again and saying, hey, we got a group here that wants to find ways to get involved with the students. Their faculty, are there other programs, are there others that might be interested outside of those we already know? I think we could hit all levels of school.
I think Tana was one of the names he gave you though. Tana Sikoskis from the AVID program. And they have AVID at all of the middle schools right now and all the high schools.
Okay,
So there's tons of AVID classes. There's at least one per grade level. So that would be another option that I would see. And I don't know if there's like cultural classes, I'm assuming maybe at the school, something like that.
I'm not even sure.
Maybe just a foods cultural, I don't know.
I know Century has like a leadership program that encompasses just a wide variety of things. That might not be worded or not.
But yeah, definitely I would say to reach out to them, would be able to get feedback from the
And even
different
more than
schools.
one area, because I know Sassy is helping develop some kind of diversity or cultural classes. And being able to pull from different areas, kids who are involved in AVID and those who are involved in other things to get it's not a problem to work with more than one,
Yeah.
teacher or advocate at the schools.
So do we want to keep that? I know we had a goal before on the student aspect of it. Do you want to then keep that as? to be
Youth
able to-
engagement,
Yeah, youth engagement. And it doesn't even have to be, we're looking right now at the high school level, but you could look at the college level too. And I know there's college classes that meet that, the University of Mariana, BSC.
so that's 3 different goals so far then, right? Engagement with outside participation, art diversity university, and then youth engagement, and we can kind of develop that. Do we want the MEI as a goal until we can complete that?
I would think so. We've worked
Okay.
on that. You've worked on that a lot.
I'm gonna pull all of you in because school's starting
And then to go with the MEI and then to look at eventually expanding that to other
Yeah.
areas. So that could be on for
for
a long
years.
time, yeah.
Yeah,
And it could make a real difference too.
yeah.
And then I don't know, Jason, if this is a goal in the past, but I know we do it and it's a great thing, but like the humanitarian award that we do for both, individuals and then the groups as well, and then we decided, did we go for it? I can't remember regarding this writing thing. We did, okay. So I don't know if we need to put that, or is that just something we do maybe?
Under goals, you could, a lot of times when we do like staff evaluations and things, what they'll tell you, I'll write things like continued support of the following. And it's
Okay.
activities like that become, I don't want to say they're routine, but they're significant. Yeah, so we could easily put something in there, continued support of the humanitarian award, the poetry and essay contest. What else are some of the other?
And we do stuff like band night, parade,
Yeah, that's,
pride.
for anybody that didn't know that, once upon a time, the HRC marched in the parade.
Okay.
Both. There's Van Night, which is Friday, May 13th, and then there's also the Autumn Fest, which is typically the second or third Saturday in September. That's where the banner went last time.
Yeah.
It disappeared after that.
That banner's missing.
So that's part of the reason you needed a new banner. So you need a new banner, so you got a new logo, so you can get a new banner. Right.
This year's Bannock Parade is gonna be kind of the kickoff, hopefully, for
Bismarck Birthday Bash.
Yeah.
The day
There's
after.
no birthday bash.
The
What?
day after, so May 14th, 1872 is the day surveyors pounded a stake in the ground and said, this is where we're gonna have a new town. And so this year, May 14th, 2022, is 150 years of the founding of Bismarck. And so the birthday is, the official date of the birthday is Saturday the 14th. May 13th, that Friday, the night before, is the parade. We're having a community stakeholders kickoff meeting tomorrow morning at the event center, and that will be part of the conversation is how do we get to brand this year's parade and do some of these other things to recognize we've got 150 years as a community.
Could we be in the parade if we wanted to?
Yes, that was what the group did before. And so some of the HRC members walked, carried a banner, and then brought their friends and family and pets and passed out candy and just, you're not there talking about anything, but you're there for the visual recognition, holding the banner, wearing your t-shirts, celebrating diversity, doing all the things
Well, I
you can
think
do.
we should because it's 150 years. I think we should be a part of it.
What's that, 6 to 9?
The parade,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's probably starts at 6:30 or so up at the Capitol. It probably,
Well, we gotta get in there probably way before that.
About 5 probably.
yeah, and the person, so the band night parade is actually, I don't know if it's sponsored or supported or coordinated, but it's through Eckroth Music because it's part of the Professional Musicians Association.
Yeah.
And so Eckroth every year puts a band together of musicians from the region or the Bismarck Bandon area. And I believe they are, for lack of anything else, the host and the coordinator. And there is actually a contact person's name and phone number on the website, yada, yada, yada. So if this group is interested, we can find out what the registration fee is, what all the particulars are. And if you guys want to get serious about walking in the parade, sounds like a dandy time, especially if the weather's fine.
I think that'd be good.
I will do it as long as it's not raining.
And I was-
That
You
would,
had me at bring your pet.
Huh?
Bring
My
pet.
Greyhound is a walker.
Yeah, it can all be done, wagons, whatever, you see all sorts and all types in a
Does we
parade,
have a
so.
covered wagon we can ride in?
That was that.
I might get an airplane, I don't know about a covered wagon.
we do have mounted police, but
Oh, we want them walking with us.
You don't wanna walk behind them.
I was gonna say,
It could be the pooper scoopers.
That's right.
I think that would be good.
Okay, so 4 goals, we've got build recognition through participation, we're gonna put the diversity university back, and then we'll put in there 2 HRC planned events, and then 2 HRC participated events, or co-sponsored, or coordinated, or partnered, however we wanna say that. Number 3, youth engagement, and then number 4, the MEI scoring. Those 4 things, okay?
That works.
You want us to look into what it would take to get in the parade on the
Yeah,
13th?
yes.
Okay,
What
that means some of you need to show up too, though. You can't just be there. You gotta be there and walk and do all of that as well.
Well, I can do it as long as it's not raining.
And also we can see if people we've partnered with would like to walk with us.
Absolutely.
If they don't have their own, spot in the parade, we can
Yeah.
invite them to walk with
Yep.
us and.
You
with
see
the
it,
group.
especially that parade, you'll see schools coming together,
Yeah,
and it's parents, kids, pets, faculty, staff, instructors, whatever, and they just walk as a large group with some type of recognition, so.
Did they have it last year with COVID?
yes.
In 21, there was a parade. In 20, it was canceled.
they did, and usually we get like an invitation or something. We didn't last year, so I figured if you guys are interested this year, we can seek them out and say, hey,
Yeah.
we wanna participate, how do we do that?
So, okay, are we good with goals?
And then the only other thing I would add is that we'll leave it on as just continued goal discussion. If anybody has new ideas at any point during the year, the goals list should be fluid. So we can always add to it as Steve said.
I'm all about this movie.
Are you?
I'm all about this movie right now. I
Yeah,
don't know what movie, but I'm all about it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, we
Take
did,
it and run with it. I'll support whatever you.
we did suffragette, and then they had, the women's studies professor come and talk about it, and then answer questions, and it was really
So
cool.
many different ways we can go with it, so many different avenues we can touch on.
Are any of you members of the, what's it called, the Dakota Film Society? They meet on Thursdays. It's about this time of the year. And so they bring a series of 6, 8, maybe 10 movies to the Grand Theater. And maybe they're not doing it now with all things COVID, but it used to be Cinema 100. That's what it's called. Cinema 100. And they do it twice a year when they were thriving, once in the spring, once in the fall. And when I say spring, it's really like right now.
Yeah.
And I actually, when I was at BSC back in the mid to late 90s, I actually took a class through BSC. It was an English class, and every week for 8 weeks, we went to a different movie at the Grand Theaters. I'm wondering if the movies you pick, you'd want to be mindful that they haven't already shown it. It would want to be something that's new to the community or significant enough to draw the attention of that group as well. It's not just about what the HRC's message is, but for some people, they just like going to movies too. So
So how long ago did they do this? Like the suffragette thing?
2019? Or was it
Yeah.
2018? No, you weren't here in 18. Were you?
So Krista was on the committee then.
Yeah, and Hannah was a big part of it.
No, maybe Hannah, yeah,
Yeah,
Amy,
Amy Ingersoll Johnson.
she was the one who,
Yeah, and that was towards the end when she stepped away.
Was there a reason why they picked that specific film?
It was the 100-year anniversary of the women's right to vote.
Okay.
That's right.
So it was 2018, if I want to say too, yeah. So that was the motivation behind that particular film, but other than that, I don't know that there's any impetus for a theme.
And then you could get like a lot of press for that,
Mhm.
like,
You just have to be really careful with the rights to like
what
screen.
we actually did was we purchased, Gloria has, I can't remember, has a contact where we actually purchased the rights to, so that would come out of your budget, but I think it was $200 or
I
something.
wasn't much. Well, that's the other thing, speaking of budget, there is an entry fee for the parade. It would be $25 or $50. That would come out of your expenditures as well, but that's all part of what you're supposed to be doing here, so.
I'll be bringing something to other business.
With that filming, did they charge or did they waive the fee for it as well?
No, they waived the fee now.
And with those films, yeah, you could bring in a subject matter expert, or you could have an open conversation. You can facilitate the hell out of that, any way you want.
yeah, you could show the film and then someone talk about it afterwards or whatever.
Yep.
I'm gonna start researching films.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, I hosted one for Kevin Hines suicide prevention movie. And we filled out, I was up at the theater that closed, but it was 2 nights in a row, people. I mean, it was like 24 people that come and they got 2 nights in a row to host it. So it's something people here are definitely interested in.
And the more and more you get yourself in the news and in the Dakota section with pictures and quotes and things like that, the more recognition you'll have when it comes time to put butts in the seats for the bigger events too.
I don't know,
You better watch out. You might actually,
in the seats.
you're gonna get way up there. You're gonna have your hands full.
So with that, under other business, is this the monthly new chair and vice chair?
Yeah, that's, are we done with the goals discussion? Everybody comfortable with that?
Good.
Okay.
Did
Um,
we get a motion to
Oh,
the parade fee though?
Oh,
No.
well, we'll bring it back at the next meeting with more information. If we can, we'll add that as carryover and then we can report on it. So I failed to add to the agenda, the election of officers. So typically it's done in January at the end of each meeting. For those of you that may remember the discussion at the last month, Trevor had talked about, he and Darcy were interested in switching roles, where Trevor would take on the chair responsibility and Darcy would take on the vice chair. Darcy's not here tonight and I wasn't able to get her on the phone, to let her know this, but can't really do it that way. For as convenient as that might be for those involved, it's actually gonna cause some consternation for our city attorney. So past practice and preferred practice would be when the person is no longer the chair, then they become just a traditional committee member. What does occasionally happen is some succession planning where the vice chair, if that person is interested, could accept the nomination as chair, move into that role, and then a new vice chair is brought in for some of that leadership opportunity and just general mixing of roles and responsibilities. So with that, I would encourage the conversation amongst the 5 of you here. We would need a motion for a chairperson. We would need a motion for a vice chairperson, assuming those individuals are willing to accept those responsibilities. But we would want some formal action for those 2 things, just so we can move forward. Now, given we're missing a couple members, we're missing Sassy and we're missing, well, Krista and Collie, their terms actually end tonight. And so we've advertised for more positions. I'm surprised Krista's not here. We didn't hear from her.
Krista said she was gonna show up to her last meeting.
Yeah, well, we were hoping she'd be here. So Krista cannot reapply until there's a gap in some time, and we've not heard from Collie. I don't know that he's made it to the last 3 or 4
I
meetings.
think he's like,
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, it is fair to mention, once upon a time, there was an attendance problem with past members, and the group implemented an attendance policy, and it essentially said if you miss 4 meetings, you're done. We lost some members that way, which was unfortunate because some of those members were engaged in a lot of things, which oftentimes has conflicts with ability to attend. But at the same time, I believe if you're gonna be here, you should be here. So we do have the announcement out now. We are accepting applications for the 2 vacant positions. We've not seen anything from Collie, and of course, Chris is not gonna apply. But getting back to this conversation, if you wanted to wait to your February meeting to do an election of officers, when you have hopefully a larger group in attendance, you can do that, or the 5 of you can simply decide amongst yourselves how you want to proceed, and it's set in stone for the next meeting.
What do we think is fair?
Well, I don't know, like, if we're gonna get everybody here. Say, everyone's got things to do, and I would be willing to do chair. And Jason, would you be willing to do vice chair or not?
I would. Is anyone else interested?
I'll just say it this way with 2.
Nope.
I'll call them rookies with Nicole and with Tia both here and only on your second meetings. I think it would be a little unfair to ask you for that responsibility. But don't think that you'd be exempt in future years if you're still there.
Somebody on there interested?
I'm going with you 2 if you want to do it.
Well, yeah, I now I get the city attorney's point too, and I know Darcy was interested just flipping, but since the city attorney said no, I guess. That's all right.
And I don't know,
Is that
was Darcy at the
be,
last meeting?
yes,
I believe she was
was.
on. She's been at several meetings electronically, but I don't recall the last time
She's
she's
new
here.
to the, having the election, okay.
Yeah.
She, at first she told me today she wanted to be here for to talk about it with that. But I don't think, I haven't told her about what the city attorney said, cause I just figured that out from Jason when I walked in here today.
And I did leave Darcy a message with the gist of that. her voicemail, but her phone went straight to voicemail when I called earlier today, so I didn't have a chance to connect with her, but I will follow up with her again tomorrow or later this week.
Well, I know she's having trouble with her dad. He's in ICU, so it's difficult to get a hold of her. But Jason, would you be okay doing vice chair, or do you think it's gonna be too much for you to?
I would be okay with that,
Okay,
so long as the committee is okay with that.
yeah,
Really, you guys, just clarification of what the role, or what the responsibilities are. I mean, it really comes down to just conducting the meeting. And other advisory boards that I've been a part of, we could certainly get to this point if it's helpful, but oftentimes the chairperson will come in prior to the meeting and meet with staff, just to kind of walk through the agenda, get the lay of the land. Hey, are there any surprises? And that's a resource that we're here to provide. So I would offer that to both of you if you're interested in, you know, hey, can we just spend 15 minutes in Jason's office before we come together and walk and talk through the whole thing? Other than that, being at the regular meetings, there really isn't a whole lot of more responsibility, because the agenda is prepared by staff and it's based on the conversations and the directions that you give us. It's not like we're gonna call on you to go cut ribbons and kiss babies and glad hand or any of that kind of stuff. So we'll leave that to them. That's the differentiation between you and the commissioners. You guys aren't elected, so you can't be kissing babies.
so, but I would take that with everything.
How do we do this? We just have to.
You could just make it as a motion. Yep.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to elect Trevor as the chair and Jason as the vice chair.
And I will second that.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
I,
Those opposed? Motion carried.
would we motion for more positions? I'm just.
Vice chair.
Maybe at a.
Assistant.
Secretary, but we don't have it.
We don't use that term anymore. And that's what we're here for, is to help with the note taking and.
So what other business do we have?
I think Jason has something.
Do we know? I just have a question
There's money
on
related
the
to
two positions. When do they close?
Oh, the vacancies close the end of this month? I
Well,
believe. I heard how we've done at least 2 applications,
So
so.
we need to get more word out there. Where is it posted?
it's on the website, and I know, last week I had, Caitlin advertise it through Facebook again, that we're looking for
It's on
members.
my Facebook page.
Is it?
Sure.
So we need to do the whole.
Well, and I know Darcy had one person, she filled out the Marlene Ward.
And so for Marlene filled out an app.
Hello? Hello? Yeah. I'm at the city county building. Are the doors locked? Okay, and if the doors are locked, call me and someone will let you in. Okay, bye.
Okay, so what we're looking at, Nicole, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Looks like the city's website. Okay, so bismarcknd.gov is our homepage. Where you'll find this information is right here under the headlines and announcements. If you scroll down, it says Human Relations Committee. Whoops, that's not the right one. Sorry, that's the other one.
You gotta view all.
Here we go. Click view all, sorry. And then if you scroll down, right here, Human Relations Committee applications sought. So you can direct people to the homepage under headlines and announcements. And there's a link to the application itself. And there's a link to the Human Relations Committee page, so people can find out what you guys do and who you are and what you're up to. It's a fillable form, so if you have friends, family, colleagues that might be interested in participating in this, direct them this way. In the past, we've had the luxury of having extra applications, you know, so when we might have had 2 spots open, we had 4 or 5 applications that have come in. With the last turnover, the last 2 vacancies with Brandy stepping aside and Manisha stepping aside, we reached out to Nicole and Tia because they had applied during the last round. And so we've kind of exhausted our surplus of applications.
But we've also, if we've applications that are older than a year, people will have to apply again
Yep.
because,
Things change. and-
yeah. So if it's been a year since they've applied, we're asking to apply again.
I just shared the Bismarck, North Dakota City Government Facebook
That's what I'm
one,
doing right
yeah.
now. Yeah.
I'm trying, and then we also have Humanitarian of the Year award, right? Is that on the page?
That's on there too.
Yep.
It is,
That's the
okay.
top one.
and
Oh,
we-
no, is it on there? No, that was the other one. Is the humanitarian of the year one on there too?
Yes,
Okay, just scroll down further.
yep,
Okay.
it's there. And then we've got to get to the poetry and essay contest, which we talked about in our staff meeting this morning. So
Gloria was gonna push out both of those,
Yep.
if not today, tomorrow. So you guys have one nomination that came in for the humanitarian award. And, one application that came in prior to, the elections or prior to the expiration terms, I guess.
What is the humanitarian award deadline?
end of February,
Yep.
we'll have a couple of months of opportunity to get people there. So again, this group thinking
We get
about,
us on TV.
what's that?
We get us on TV
Which part?
about the humanitarian awards.
Yeah.
Can we go on like North Dakota Today?
Oh, to help raise awareness?
Yes.
You
Do
wanna
I need
go?
to reach out there? Can I have
You.
a lot of contacts.
If you wanna go to local media, by all means, just let us know so that we can help share it and promote it, but you don't
Is
need
there
our
a press
permission.
release though that I could send them, that Gloria did at all? For the humanitarian.
There should be, cause after your last meeting, I had tasked her with that being one of the three things that came out of that discussion, so. Whitney can pull it up here and take a look, but, if we have one, which we should, because we do one every year, we can forward that to the group, and then you can use that to open some doors in your world, if you wanna share that or promote it, or talk about it on local TV, or however that works. There's no restrictions to that.
I'm wondering if it expired because she had done it before. Cause it's not on here right now.
Okay, we can push it out again.
I can reach out to the radio stations.
I know for sure I can get us on Big Rig in North Dakota Today.
Oh, there you
I'm
go.
on there all the time, both of them. But then it would be, usually Studio 701 is really good about getting people on too. We just have to make sure we have someone that can go on. But they usually give you like a bunch of dates and times, so.
Okay.
So,
I'm willing to throw my hat in to go. I'm assuming I'm over everything because I feel like I've caught everything on the kitchen sink this
for
time.
Studio 701, you're in a different room,
Oh,
not even in the same room as them. I don't think,
perfect. So even if I'm not feeling good, it's
Yep.
okay. All right, I'll throw my hat in the ring. If you set it up, I'll go do it. But I don't want to do all of them.
I can do North Dakota Today
Okay.
for Big Rig, I'm on Big Rig.
What's 701? Is that Stacy Lynn?
That's the one where there's a bunch of them. Like, I don't know, I've never been on that, I don't, I can figure out if other people go on it.
It's on Broadway?
Studio 701 is at KX News,
How about
Oh,
the
God, that's the
fourth
TV?
yeah,
Okay.
yes.
floor?
Can't think of that.
Jason, I would challenge you to a germ off, because I'm pretty sure we have every.
Okay, so Big Ridge, I heard we
I
did.
hear you, Nicole.
No,
No, they're Townsville.
Town Square. Big Rig is like right by Glen Swan. I heard it's different.
Who's Stia? I heard I could get us on the Ginger G show.
It's your sister, isn't it?
Yes.
I've been on there for something,
That's a fun.
yeah.
David Ginger.
And then I've been on, like Todd Mitchell, I've been on with before.
And
And
then
then
there's,
Phil Parker, I've been on
Yeah.
before.
and there's Stacy Lynn. She does the,
URL radio.
URL radio, and she loves having local people on.
Yeah.
So you guys can do that, I can do one,
Okay.
but you know, you gotta work with me on the transportation piece, it's really difficult.
Well, some of them you can do, you don't even have to go in.
You can remote in
Remote in
from
and
your
stuff.
place.
Or you could even come over here, Trevor, and we could set you up right here, and you could use this screen
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, if you could help me with that, Jason, that would be
Okay.
good, because
Just let us know whatever you guys are able to do, and we'll help with the details.
So
I'll get the press release out to you as soon as I have it from Gloria. send it.
Oh, you said Darcy's friend needs to reapply then, Whitney?
If anything that's over, any applications that are over a year old, they need to reapply.
Okay, so Jason, you might wanna mention that to her if you talk to her before
Okay.
I did. Because
Are we good with all of that?
So how many people, let's have one question, how many
Okay.
people can I put together in a text message where I'm not considered a meeting?
3,
So if I put us three and then I could do Trevor separately,
no, that's a serial meeting, because then you've done the same messaging
you
in a
could
different
just
way.
sit
so
out
I
there.
could do us,
You could just sit on.
us
the-
three unless I go through you guys.
If you send it to us, we can share it with everybody. You just can't share it independently, because then you get into that open record stuff. So use us as a communications resource, and we can,
Make big headache for the city
yeah,
attorney.
yeah, city attorney's head will blow up if we get in trouble, so
Okay.
we don't wanna do that. She's good.
You'll send out all the press releases then.
As soon as I get the press release, I'll send it out to, yes,
So she can't text me then.
no. They're gonna have to contact you.
Yep, we can coordinate it, Trevor. We'll help here. We'll do what we can. So you're looking at potentially 2, 3,
I don't know, I'll send it to the Tribune will automatically put it in.
okay,
They'll put it in their whatever section. And then I would say you can go on your sister's show.
Possibly. I
Um,
usually try to keep it familial.
we can mention it on City Current as well. City Current is a program that runs on.
And I'm willing to be on any radio.
And I know I can go on Big Rig and.
I have a question, Jason. Is there a possibility on those city cards we could just do? I know they're usually used for the city commission meeting, but is there a way we could do our like a city can for this committee?
Dakota Media Access is always looking for new programs. The catch to that is they won't do any of the production work other than running the cameras. So you have to develop the content, coordinate all the guests, all that type of work. What's something that has been talked about with this group in the past that never came to fruition, this would be pretty simple to do. Dakota Media Access, through their radio station, 102.5 FM, they have public service announcements. So in between meetings, at the end of the hour, at the top of the hour, a lot of times you'll hear voices from staff at public health or staff at the library where they do a quick 30-second rundown of either what's going on at public health or a specific program that they want to highlight at public health. I think public health recorded close to 20 different public service announcements in a 2-day timeline. Then DMA just rotates that into their filler content and it goes on throughout the day, weeks and months. So not that I'm trying to add to your goals list, but if you guys really want to get involved with local radio and media, I would encourage you to think about something like that to raise awareness of what the HRC is. But then if you want to key on some specific messages, you could develop PSAs and then run over there and record them and then they're golden for good.
Okay, I'll try and format some PSAs to bring to the next meeting to get clearance from the board, and I'd be willing to take that on, because that's easy. You can sit down and do audio recording in like an hour or 2-hour format and get 10, 15 of them, or like 3 or 4. Let's think low.
The hardest part is developing the content.
Yeah,
Once you've got the content and a message that everybody can agree to, each of you could record the same message.
right.
Because every time it's a new voice, it's a different message, it's a different, however you phrase it or whatever.
Would be better.
So if this group came up with 2 or 3 PSAs and each of you recorded one, you could do 30 PSAs in no time.
Yeah, because I want it to be varied, because I don't want my face on the t-shirt.
It's gonna be very different, for sure.
No, everyone will be like, no.
Every organization has that one spokesperson.
Are we good with that? Okay,
And if you need help with any PSA, that'd be.
content.
Yep.
Okay. All I want to bring up is we were able to spend our budget. And I'd like to know when and how we can advocate for a larger budget for HRC.
Okay. So the city's budgeting process,
I know it's already over.
it's over, we're spending 2022's money now, but we'll begin the process again in probably April and May. And so between April and May through September, it's our budget season, our budget cycle, where we go through line by line, dollar by dollar, department by department. As your staff representative and a member of the city's budget committee, you would need to direct me to get in there and throw elbows with everybody else to fight for some more money.
I would so to, or we would like you to, we can show that we did spend our budgetary money. We're gonna be able to show that in our annual review or annual presentation, and we're also gonna show that we would like to be taking on more things and involving more investment into our community as a city to show that we care about diversity in our city and our city planning.
How long has it been stuck at 2,500?
Longer than I can account for.
And that's, we feel is it's time to move up into a,
Yeah, I don't think it's an invalid request at all. So just even at $2,500, if it went up 20% and it went to $3,000, I mean, that's another $500 is another $500. So,
what do you think, Sergiana? What's a good goal for us to project, and then they can lowball us?
I'd say 3,500 and they will boss to 3.
I would say go higher than that.
Oh,
And here's one example. So every year, the city sets aside funds for different organizations. One of them that comes to mind is Dakota West Arts Council.
Yep.
Dakota West Arts Council gets a grant from the city in the amount of $65,000 a year. They dole that money out throughout the year to subrecipients or local artists or performance groups or whatever the case might be. But then they have to report that and be accountable for those funds. So that's kind of on the far end. On the low end, you guys probably have, one of the smallest budgets out of all of them. I do know that the Missouri Valley Coalition for Homeless People, which is another organization out to support homelessness or the end to homelessness, their annual grant from the city is $5,000.
That's
Okay.
about,
think you should give 5,000.
yeah.
I think you ask for 5, and if you get anything, it's great. If you don't, well, at least you still got 25. It won't go down.
If we don't, then what would we do? Make a presentation to the city commission, correct?
If you would get to the point where you expend all of your funds before the end of the year is up and you had another project that was coming forward, or if you had need for additional dollars, you could then go to the commission and say, hey, we got our $2,500 budget. These are the items we're gonna do this year. We got a really cool opportunity to do something else. That would be a special presentation in front of the commission, and then they have a line item in the budget for commission special projects.
Okay.
Basically, they have funds set aside every year for those, oh gosh, what if, things that just pop up out of nowhere type things. So that would be another opportunity. If you said, hey, we'd love to bring in this movie, it's $3,500, but we can, promise these types of gains or returns, that would be the type of thing you would get in front of the commission to say, hey, we need a little help here.
So do you think when it gets close to budget season, to have Mayor Bakken come in so he's aware of it?
Either that, or I would choreograph the timing of your annual report in front of the commission to be really close to the budget season, so it's fresh in their mind as to what you guys have done for the last 12 to 14 months.
Can we make a request when we do our annual report? Or something?
Well, I was wondering, I'm the one who's doing that in the report, but I'm wondering if, or the presentation part of it, but I'm wondering if I could at the end of it, put what we have upcoming, or that we're doing in 2022 or already have done. So they have that in their mind, they've already worked on this, and look what they have coming up.
Yeah,
So let's give them more money.
I think that sounds really.
Just wear a shirt that says, show me the money.
For those of us that are a little new, the annual report, can you just, I know what an annual report is, but the presentation, can you just explain that?
None of us have ever.
We've never done it.
Okay, so you're
Nobody
presenting
left
to
that
the
and has
commission,
done
is
it.
that?
The commission. The
It's-
person who did it the last time isn't with us anymore, so I took it over.
Yeah,
No, I haven't had to do it yet.
I'm gonna I was gonna
When
stand
do
up
we
there
do?
Oh,
when
and
do-
PowerPoint, and I'm gonna rattle that.
She was gonna dance. I don't know, we
February,
have to
but
ask to be at a city commission meeting, so I'm not even sure yet.
we might push it.
When
back
is it,
now.
Jason? For the annual report?
They did it,
We did it late last time, like, because it was my first meeting, she had just done it or was gonna just do it.
I think she did it the last meeting in February,
And maybe we can say in that budget, like, we would like to hear an increase in the report.
January 2020 through December 2020. So this was 8 pages. Nicole, can you see the screen with the annual report?
Yep.
Okay. And this is on our website. It's on the HRC page within the boards and committees.
Oh, there's the banner.
There's your old banner.
It's not here anymore.
So it talks about the goals and the establishment. So here's a little history piece, and it's good to keep that history piece in there because for as much as staff stays the same, the elected officials churn through. So,
been a committee for 20 years.
wow.
The guy from the news asked me that, I'm like, I don't know when it started.
So you can see here quickly the list: Krista Rouse, Shay Helling, Annette Martell, Brandy Jude, Darcy Andall, Hannah Van Orney, Collie Flomo, Manisha Sani, Trevor Vanette. There's 3 names from last year that are still here. So, and 2 of them, well, there's 4 and 2 of them expire today. So we're confident that with all of your new faces, that there's going to be just an overwhelming support and enthusiasm and participation in this group that's been struggling to get people to events and members coming to events. That's all going to change with all of you now.
So do you have this in like a Word form where I could work off of it?
Did you get it from Hannah?
No, which we can ask her, I'm sure she still has it.
You can
Um,
convert this
what did
back
she-
to a Word
yeah.
form.
Ken?
Yeah.
I can do that too.
Okay.
What did she have it in?
She was doing it in Publisher.
Yeah, but
That's where she was comfortable.
I can make it
I've never done
into.
anything in Bubble.
Yeah, there's no
Like
magic. to
Word,
it.
I can-
Okay,
Word's probably best for us if,
okay.
not that we need to manipulate it, but. So what is, just speaking of this, what is the goal to have a report? Typically, we see annual reports come really anytime between now and April, within that first quarter.
Let's say as close to when we're gonna ask for money as possible.
Okay.
March, maybe?
Yeah,
End of February.
Do you know when the city committee, I'm the one who's doing it, so I'd rather do it in March.
City Commission will always meet the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of each month, and I wanna say in March, it's like the 8th and the 22nd. It's the same as it is in February.
if you want support, I'm in town, I'm gone the 22nd, I fly out to Orlando for a work conference.
Are those the right dates?
Yeah.
March 8th and 22.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in to Vegas the next week, so I do it before, so I'm not stressed out that I need to do this, so I think the 8th would work if we can get me on there, or get us on there.
That will depend on your ability to get the report done. We can get you on the agenda.
If there's gonna be in Denver, March 8th.
Okay.
So annual report, March 8th.
What time is it gonna be?
And I will be,
5:15.
just so you know, Jason, I will be there that night.
Okay,
And then, Sardiana, what I would just put at the end of your report is just that we're gonna be looking for.
Well, I'm sure I can have it done, like, when is our February
so
meeting?
28th.
it's the end of the month. And so here,
It's the 28th.
Yeah. So I could have it done by then, and then people could like review it.
so if you guys are gonna meet the 28th, it's actually, so the city commission meets here on the 8th. Our internal deadline for items is Tuesday the 1st. So if you guys reviewed and finalized the draft on the 28th, we could absolutely have it on the agenda for March 8th. So we need to add that to the agenda for next month, annual report review, and then if it all goes well with whatever tweaks, comments, whatever. Sorry,
And I could
John,
send it out early too, like,
you can.
I could probably have it done early, send it to Whitney.
If you have it by the 18th through the 22nd, because we're not here Monday, the 21st. That's President's Day. So the agenda packet for the meeting on the 28th will probably go out the 22nd. If you can get it to Whitney before the 22nd, we can attach it as an item on the regular agenda for your meeting in February. That'll get everybody a chance to review it before the meeting, come with their comments, additions, corrections, what have yous. Finalize it all at the meeting on Monday, the 28th, and you can hand it over to us and we'll get it on the agenda, and then you'll be the first thing on the regular agenda, March 8th. And if those of you that are here want to come, outstanding. We'd encourage it. And then together and hold your banner and
One free item for the commissioners.
throw water bottles. You get a water bottle. You get a water bottle.
Sticker, you need to wear it.
You know, and we can just say all the activities we're looking for, money or new activities. I would like to see it increase just because I think 2,500 is just too low. I think the cost of inflation is going to be the biggest thing.
Jesus, what was asking for money?
Yep. We have to
The
support our
Jason family,
community.
they started spending all their money.
Which is good, because if you don't spend it, then they look at it like, well, you guys don't really need this money, because you're not spending it, so.
Yep.
So I was surprised there was hardly any discussion at the commission table of that. Martin Luther King, all guys had this good word.
Yeah.
I didn't know it even had to go on the agenda for that.
We chose to do it that way just to, number one, to have cover, to make sure that, you know, nobody questions where the HRC's budget is going. But also number two, and this is really the more important reason, it was to give everybody an opportunity to stand up and talk about it. Because with Jason there and with Mr. Patry there and the commissioners talking, it just gave that many more people that are watching those meetings or listening to them on the radio or watching them later at home. Now they're aware of it as well.
Well, and I like that Marquardt and Guy both said that they had attended before, and it reminded them that they are welcome, and now that we're partnering, we'd really like to see them there. To have city officials take part in ownership of things that we do as a committee is nice.
Well, that's why I was saying that the money part of it would be nice to have a conversation with Bach or whoever, even Marquardt, whoever could
Yeah,
get here and say, here's.
Not to tell anybody here what to do or how to do it, but if you're so inclined during the report, the annual report at the March 8th meeting, much like Mr. Patry did with or actually it was Jason that invited everybody, you could say, you know, we'd welcome any and all of you to come to any of our regular meetings and see what we're up to or get engaged in our events. Doesn't have to just be the mayor. The mayor holds the portfolio, but he's obviously not on the committee. That doesn't mean the others can't be interested in what you're doing. So.
Any other business?
We get everything we need.
Thanks.
Hey, look, I made a whole page worth of notes this morning when we were talking. Normally we have a staff meeting every Monday at 9 a.m. We spent the first 42 minutes talking about you guys this morning. So
What percentage of your staff meeting was about us?
42%. 42% of an hour, so whatever that, 42 minutes of an hour, so it was more than 50%.
70-ish.
Yeah.
Look at us. What are you talking about us?
How do I, there we go, trying to quit sharing my screen here, so. Gloria's report from her conversation with Julie Ramos Lagos. There's also, some of you may know this already, but there's an event Tuesday, January 18th. So it's the day after the MLK Junior celebration at Trinity. Tuesday, the 18th at 4:30 p.m. at Gateway Mall. The Global Neighbors is hosting, as I understand it, it's called the Gateway Jamboree.
Oh, yeah,
And this is their ribbon cutting and grand opening.
of the new office.
And they're hoping it to be an annual event where they have a Gateway Jamboree, and they want to use Gateway Mall as the venue for, what do they talk about? Focusing on 3 different cultural groups each month. So you're nodding your head. If you know more of this, speak up, because I I'm hearing all of this third hand. So the hope is that it may become a monthly event, is what I wrote. Does that sound right?
Because that's similar to what they've been doing at the library.
Okay.
Typically trying to focus on 3 different cultures. I'm guessing they're just moving it now to their larger new location.
So Gateway they have an office at Gateway?
That's where their new office is.
Okay.
I was supposed to go up and meet with them and Gloria and Bill, but I was sick.
I kept asking why they called it a ribbon cutting. Gloria said, well, because it's a kickoff for an activity. And I thought, no, you cut a ribbon when you're someplace new.
It's their
It's
new
their new
office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's great. Okay, so that was one thing that we talked about this morning, the families around the world. We're gonna do what we can to help promote that. We got the MLK Junior celebration on the 17th, we got that. Poetry and essay contest, closing dates are February 25th, and the humanitarian award is, the closing is February 25th. That must be the last Friday in February. And then we would bring those nominations to you at your meeting in February 28th, so you can all review the applications for humanitarian. And then
Just
typically,
like the humanitarian award, have to go in front of the city commission.
again, we'll do that to raise recognition for the individual or the organization or both, like we did last year. But it doesn't need to be approved by the commission. We just would do the ceremony at a commission meeting. This group chooses who gets.
Yeah, I know we had to get it approved for Dr. Roswick on the consent agenda that time.
Yeah. So,
Did that.
so you guys are gonna have a busy meeting.
So when is the poetry one, did you say?
It closes on the 25th, and we were
Both of them
hoping,
close on the 25th?
yep, we were hoping that Sassy was gonna be here tonight to maybe get some inroads with the BPS students, but Sargiana, if you have ways or if others have ways to,
Grades is it?
what is it, 3rd and 8th, 4th and 8th?
No, it's 4th through 8th.
4th through 8th. Okay, so if any of you know faculty or staff within BPS, and you can tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, we'd love for a couple students to do this. In the past, we've had entire classrooms submit poems or essays. In more recent years, we've had like 2 or 3 come across from a parent like Manisha who said, hey, kids, you're gonna do this. So there hasn't been as much interest or response. So if through your connections in the community, if there's ways that you could kick open that door, we would love for that to be able to happen.
Yeah, 4th through 8th grade students, and then they're graded like in categories 4th through 5th, and then 6th through 8th.
And this group has tried different things in the past to, kind of put a theme on the poems or a topic for the essay, just to generate interest and support. I don't know if we're just not hitting the right lanes for messaging or if there's just a lack of interest, but in the last few years, we just really haven't seen the responses that we had seen prior.
Yeah. Is there any other business? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Is there a second?
What is that thing?
All those in favor say aye.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, we'll see you guys on the 28th of February. That's the next meeting. For those of you that will be at the event on the 17th. I've got it on my calendar, but I've also got some other things that are up in the air with some other committee stuff that I do for church. So I may or may not be there for that one. So, but you missed Jason, the meeting's adjourned.
Okay.
So Jason, you're gonna take that stuff,
Yeah.
right? And
Nicole,
I'll take the
thanks for your time.
And then is Facebook okay with
See you next month.
See you
Thanks,
later.
Nicole, feel better.
I'm gonna grab it.
Yeah, I can text her.